Welcome to Distracted, the podcast with Angela Lockwood, the place where you will find practical brain-boosting strategies, expert insights, and real-life stories to help busy brains thrive in the age of distraction. Let's go. Welcome to Distracted. I'm Angela Lockwood. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you guys have been really well. There's been a lot happening in the world lately, and I want to share with you, I've just come off the back of a whole lot of different workshops in team building and also helping staff of pretty big organizations stay connected to doing the work that they love and have the time, energy, and focus to do the work that they want to be doing and be productive, do all the things that we should be doing at work, but also having the energy to do the great things outside of work that really bring us joy as well. And one of the things that I shared in these recent workshops was something called the attention algorithm. And I want to share this with you because it really hit home for so many people. And we do so many things now and make so many decisions, focus our attention on so many things that aren't serving us well. And I don't know, let me just stop for a second. The attention algorithm, let's talk about what an algorithm actually is. Now, for a lot of you, you sort of get it. You know that when you are on your phone, that the information that's coming through on your social media is curated based on what you've already searched. So they're designed to these algorithms are sort of designed to keep you engaged. They're designed to keep you on those platforms by showing you content that aligns with things that you've already looked for. So, for example, if you've looked for recipes on how to cook chicken, what you'll find is that each time you look at your social media or you'll look at your news feeds, that information about cooking and recipes and different cooking shows and places where you can engage with other people that have like interests will start to show up. Those times where you go, oh my gosh, my phone must be listening to me as well. You have these conversations with other people too about some of the things that you're interested in. And all of a sudden, your phone starts to show you this information. And it's not by chance. It's totally and 100% by design. And these algorithms are set up based on a whole range of things. And, it's things like they collect data off the things that you've liked, that you've shared, that you've commented on, even the time. This is what really amazes me, the time that you've viewed certain posts or videos. So if you've sat and sort of hovered over a video, watching it for a little bit longer than others, the algorithm will pick up that you obviously are interested in that type of material, that you're really interested in that type of video or that style of video. So what you'll do is you'll start to see more and more things pop up. And of course, as we sort of develop through technology, these algorithms are getting smarter and smarter. They're getting more accurate and they're giving you and delivering you more of the information that you already look for. And what we know with this data collection is it doesn't matter how much we set up great security systems on our phones or we set up different firewalls or anything that we've set up in terms of privacy and security, they're finding ways to get through. They know the data that they need in order to be able to create these curated places for you where you spend your time. And it's pretty scary, actually. I know one of the books, and I've mentioned it 1,000 times, that explores this concept so often is Stolen Focus by Johann Hari. Yes, I have recommended it again, but it is an amazing book that explores a lot of how our technology is actually designed to steal our focus and then why it's so hard to stay focused and to give our attention to things when really the things that we spend so much time on have been designed to almost set us up for failure. They have just been designed so that we can only focus on the things that we're already interested in. And there's a challenge with this, right? There's a real challenge is that if you are searching for something and you're interested in it, then if the algorithm is set up so that it will keep feeding you that, then what it's doing is it's limiting your viewpoint of other things as well. It's stopping you from seeing different perspectives or stopping you from seeing things that might challenge your thinking. And this is where, unfortunately, a lot of the problems are coming, where people are searching things, particularly young kids, the things that they might be interested, or they might have seen something on television, or they might have heard something, they search for it. It's not great for them, and it's not good information for them, but the algorithm picks up that, hey, you were interested in that, you saw that, so now I'm going to keep feeding you this information. But not only is it sort of these algorithms also setting up these data collection tools, they're almost like getting this profile, building this profile of who we are. But what they also do very cleverly is they analyze the data as well. So what they do is they look at what your type of patterns of behavior are. So how often do you open up certain apps? What frequency that you're looking at certain apps? What time of the day? When you wake up in the morning, are you rolling over and picking up your phone and looking at certain things? It'll start to pick up these patterns for you. And they learn things like what topics you're interested in, what formats you like, what sources you prefer to look at. And it just, again, builds this profile of your interests. Very cleverly, again, they also look at not only your preferences, but it also prioritizes this type of content over others. So you might be looking through the wall on your Facebook profile, and what's starting to happen is on your feed is you're starting to see things and from people that you don't even know, you're not even really connected with, and you're going, how come I'm seeing these things pop up? And what you're doing is you're seeing these posts pop up because that algorithm is starting to go, I'm going to prioritize and present you with the information that you have sort of looked for. So I'm going to make this more important to you than what other people, the other stuff. So that means that you might start to see people that you were following before start to drop off a little bit, because it's going, hey, we're watching what you're doing, where you're doing it, how long you're doing it for, where are you getting your sources from, what time of the day are you doing it, where are you doing it. So we will start to give you that information based on what, that information that we've got. And what they do too is they continuously adjust it as well. So as you continue to interact on the platform and sort of stay there on the platform and engage more with the platform, it just continuously updates your profile. So it's like going, hey, I know a little bit about you now. You've given me some more information. So now we're going to update it even more. And we're going to keep refining. We're going to keep learning more and more about you. And we're going to keep presenting you with that information that you need to sort of keep you engaged on our platform. One more thing that it also does too, which is interesting, is that it creates this process, and it's called an echo chamber effect, where you are mostly, I guess, exposed to viewpoints and information that currently reinforce your existing beliefs. And I just touched on this a minute ago, that what it does is this echo chamber effect just gives you more of what you already want to know. Okay, or more of what you've already searched for, so that it limits you to different perspectives and exposures to things that might challenge your beliefs. So fascinating, hey? This way this algorithm is designed for social media, we can see it happening, we know it's happening, and unfortunately we can't stop it unless you're in that sphere of the tech world where you have some influence. But how does this translate? Like, how is this? It's like, Ange, my gosh, that's a bit of a downer. Are you serious? This is what is happening when I'm on my phone. It totally makes sense. Now I can see that I'm just getting the same information over and over again. But I want you to think about this now in a way with our attention. So our attention is what we're focusing on, what we're intentionally choosing to focus our attention on. So if the attention algorithm is set up, okay, I want to talk to you about if it's set up in a way that sets us up for failure. What does this look like? And how can we shift our own attention algorithm to a way that serves us and moves us closer to our goals? So if we look at it from a negative point of view, our attention algorithm is if we are focusing on things that aren't aligning to any goals that we have. So say you've set up goals for your life. You might be looking at a current goal, short-term goals, medium goals, long-term goals. It might be something that you are working towards. It might be an event. It might be something that you're trying to achieve in your life. These goals, if you are setting yourself up sometimes in a way that makes it a lot harder, If you are focusing your attention on things that don't serve you well, so it might be negative viewpoints, it might be watching news that doesn't make you feel good. It might be things like on social media, looking at things that don't feed your soul, things that make you feel bad about yourself, or it might be looking on news articles of things that really are quite traumatic, and you're doing this constantly. What's happening is through what you're searching for, what you're looking at, what you're listening to, starts to build this attention algorithm for you. So what your brain does is it starts to sort of clue in and starts to get more evidence of these negative things. And so let me just stop for a second. An example of this is if you are watching the news. Now, news freaks me out, I have to admit. I'm not a big news watcher because it is just full with negative thoughts. It is full with things that often I have no control over. And so when I watch the news, I feel like I'm inviting every negative thing into my life in a way that I don't have control over except turning the TV off. And what the attention algorithm I want you to think about is if we start to surround ourselves with either negative thought patterns, negative people, negative news, negative ways of being, just environments that don't inspire us, then that becomes our reality. That becomes what we see, what we focus our attention on, and we think that is how our world needs to be. And what we know is what we focus our attention on does become our reality. So if we see things in a certain way, and you might have seen this before actually in a gorilla test. There was a test done by psychologists who, it's a guy jumping on a trampoline. I often share this in my workshops. And there's a man jumping on a trampoline. People are flipping in front, and you have to count how many times the person jumps on the trampoline. So you've been fed the information of what to focus on. And while you're focusing on that and you're trying so hard to give your attention there and just count the amount of jumps, in the meantime, what happens is a gorilla walks across in front of the screen and then disappears. Now, while you're focusing on the jumping, what our brains do, not for everybody, but for most people, they will miss the fact that that gorilla even walked in the screen. And you've probably seen this in lots of different videos. It's quite a widely used tool and research that people use to highlight the fact of what we have focused our attention on. We often will miss other things, we'll miss opportunities that pop up. But when it comes to our attention and the building our own attention algorithm, it's taking a step back and looking at, am I building a negative algorithm for my life, for my thinking, for my mindset? Is the algorithm that I'm building a way that's supporting my goals and supporting my growth? Or am I building an algorithm around me that's keeping me stuck? Am I building this algorithm and this profile that's keeping me stuck in my old patterns of thinking? You know, am I surrounding myself with people who keep me stuck for where I don't want to be, or are there people who are holding me back? And what all of this does is if you're reading things that don't inspire you to move forward towards your goals, or if you are feeling stuck and you're looking for more evidence that keeps you stuck, this algorithm can be really debilitating. So just like they do it on social media and on our devices, as we build that algorithm of what we look for and what we search for and what we pay our attention to, we'll filter in what we look at on social media. So will that in our lives when we are looking at the people we surround ourselves with, the decisions we make, what we read, what we watch, what we listen to. And all those things, what we watch, who we surround ourselves with, what we listen to, what we pay attention to, builds the reality around us. Okay, so just think about that. What type of algorithm are you creating in your life right now? Is it an algorithm that's keeping you stuck in old patterns of behavior that aren't serving you well? Are you building an algorithm around you that's just feeding into either low self-esteem or feelings of low worth or feeling that you can't do the things that you want to? Or are you creating this algorithm of thinking in your life and this reality and this way of being that inspires you? that makes you feel like you can do things, that gives you those difference of opinions, that shows you that anything's possible, right? Are you building that algorithm around you that you go, yeah, you know what, my goal is achievable. Other people have done it. I can do it. Of course I can do it. Or do you keep building this algorithm that keeps you stuck? So let's think about, how can we feed ourselves all the information, build this profile around us that keeps us focused on moving forward, keeps us focused on the goals that are important to us and the life that we want. How do we build that positivity or that algorithm around us that only allows us to focus on what we need and what we want and what's important to us? So let's have a look at a couple of ways you can do this, right? Because it's one thing to go, got it, Ange, I get the algorithm analogy. I get that what I focus on becomes my reality. How do I shift it in a way that keeps me moving forward, that gets me unstuck? And I want to share a couple of ways with you, okay? Some of these might work for you. There might be a whole range of others, but a couple of these are really simple ways that you can build an algorithm around you that helps you focus on the things that bring you joy, or the things that you're passionate about, or the things that move you forward toward your goal. Something as simple as a background image on your phone or on your desktop that shows you what that goal looks like, that you've already achieved it. That's something that just reminds your brain that when you look at it, that is what you're working towards. So it might be your screensaver, it might be your desktop, it might be the backdrop on your phone. It might be if you work from home, having that vision board where you can see it when you're at your computer and things get really, you might be feeling like you're laboring too much at your desk. It might be having this image on your desk that shows the goal that you're working towards. It might be something that, like a beach view, or something that you really feel joy and feel inspired when you look at it. That's one way to build the algorithm. Put the image that you're working towards, or the image of the vision that you're trying to create, in as many places as you can. It might be next to your bed, so that the minute you roll over in the morning, that's the vision that you see. It might be on the fridge. It might be even in your car. I've had clients who have put an image just above the radio and the screen in their car, so that they can see every single day when they get in their car, that is why I'm doing this. That is why I'm stuck in my traffic jam. That is why I'm driving to work. That's why I do this, is because that is what I am working towards. So that's just one way. Surround yourself with as many visuals as you possibly can of what you are working towards, what your vision is and what your goal is. Another way you can do this, and I love this, is set up a playlist on any of the apps that you listen to your music and podcasts on. Set up a playlist. Just spend a little bit of time. It'll take it might take a half an hour to do, of all the different podcast episodes you want to listen to. So say finance, if you've got financial goals and you are working towards, might be saving a deposit for a home. Then go on there and look at all the different financial podcasts that you've either heard about, or episodes of people that you look to, or books that you've read. Look for the author, save it as a playlist, and put all of those episodes in that playlist. So that when you get in your car, or when you're on your walk, or when you're listening to podcasts, you go to that playlist and it's already curated for you. You've already fed it all in there. You've given it the information of, this is what I want to listen to right now. And you listen to that playlist. Okay. And you listen to those, you educate yourself on how do you move forward financially. If it isn't finance and it's about mindset, go through and think, who do I look up to? Who are the people I know that could teach me in this space about how to have a positivity mindset, or how do I change mindset from feeling stuck to moving forward? Who are the people I've heard about that have been success people for me that I want to learn from? Curate a playlist, put that playlist together, and that's your go-to for when it's podcast time. And that's another way it brings in, that curated algorithm for you, that now it's not just what you see through images, it's also through what you hear through your playlists. Okay, so that's another way that you can do it. Another way, of course, is through what we see, and not just through images, but also through the things on TV. Now, if you are working really hard to try to keep a positive mindset, and you're working really hard towards thinking anything is possible, don't watch the news. It's just, limit your exposure to negative news. So just say you've got any of the streaming platforms. Again, it's like creating your list on the audio platforms or the music platforms. Have a look at the documentaries that are on the topic that you are wanting to do. So say if it is about you're wanting to progress from a sport point of view, there's so many great documentaries on all the streaming platforms about athletes who have really achieved at high levels and athletes who have been there, done that, gone through the hard yards. One of the ones that really interesting, the David Beckham one on Netflix. Fascinating story. And I listened to a podcast where he was sharing that one of the big things that people never knew was his experience and what he went through after he was representing England. And I won't do a spoiler alert here, but it's interesting that people think they know what goes on for people, but the documentaries go in a little bit behind the scenes, and there's a lot of learning. It's not just about the images of what we see maybe on social media or our perceptions of people. But these documentaries often go into a lot of detail. Now, I know some of it would be, sugar-coated as well a little bit, but it just opens the curtains a little bit and allows you to peer behind successful people's lives and how they did it, the challenges that they went through, the barriers that were put in front of them and how they moved forward through that. So that's another great way of going on any of the streaming services and liking or building your own channel of things that you want to watch and taking the time to do that. You think about some of this, just the mindless scrolling that we go through, and we can spend an hour or two just mindlessly scrolling. Imagine if you translated that time. You took the thinking out of it. You go straight to your playlist on your favorite streaming service, and there they are. They're ready to go. You just click on that and you spend 2 hours of learning about how you can change your mindset or how you can do things differently or how people created products if you're looking to start your own business. So that's another great way of just being in control of how you use your time, choosing, do I want to sit here and waste it just scrolling mindlessly at something that's not going to add any value to my life? Or do I want to shift it and start to create this image and move me closer towards my goals intentionally? And that is, again, building your attention algorithm to going, now I'm seeing the imagery. I'm listening to people who have gone before me. I'm listening to content that's keeping me, updated. But I'm also now choosing my time of not sitting on the lounge just scrolling mindlessly. I am, again, adding to my algorithm of what I see and what I learn. Now, of course, we can't talk about the algorithm, not just online, but it's also the people that we surround ourselves with. So have a think about whatever goal you're currently working towards or the vision that you're trying to create in your life and this plan that you're trying to create in your life. Are the people in your life serving you well? Are the people in your life people who have either been successful in that same space as you are trying to move into? Or are there people in your life who you can tap into that have been there, but you haven't had the courage to step out and meet with them or talk to them or ask them a question? People who have usually gone through the hard yards and are people who you want to aspire to, or people who are willing to share their expertise, are usually great people who are happy when somebody reaches out to them with the real intent to learn, not to, sort of criticize, but to learn and to learn from their experience. Because people who are successful know how hard it has been for them and are happy to share that information. So again, look at the people you're surrounding yourself with and be involved more with people who can teach you, who can support you, who can lead you in the direction that you choose. Again, building that attention algorithm, you're looking at people who inspire you rather than people that hold you back. Another really great way that you can build this attention algorithm too, of course, is through what you read. Okay, so looking at what you read, and this, I guess, is partly on social media too, because what you start to read on social media will build that algorithm. So let's hack the system almost. And rather than building an algorithm of, mindless cat videos or things that don't really serve us well, I know people love those and brings them joy. But if you're really, truly serious about creating the life that you choose and wanting to move towards the success that you picture, then start to look at things on social media, read articles on social media that or online that will start to bring you that algorithm of information. That algorithm and that profile will start to come up and go, hey, this person is a successful person. They want to know more about this. So we will give them more information about that. Okay, that's one way. But of course, it's the books that you read too. I love reading a book. I love so much. If you listen to Distracted prior to this episode, you know how much I talk about books. I've even got them in my background here. Books are a really important part of my knowledge and my learning and being exposed to different ideas too. But it's also a wonderful way for me to get lost in a story, learn from other people. So look at, what are you reading? Now, it doesn't have to be long-winded books. So if learning is not your preferred method of reading is not your preferred method of learning, then I even have a look at some magazines. If it's around mindset and success, looking at different magazines that have that information, have success stories in there in the area that you want. A magazine, they have beautiful visuals in there too that I know I buy magazines sometimes still and cut the images out and post them in my vision book or in my journal. Have a look at magazines if reading books isn't your thing. But don't forget, there's also things like Audible and all those books that can read, the programs that can read books to you. If visually reading books and sitting and attending to reading a book is tricky, there's lots of different ways that you can get information, not just through sitting with a book. But don't forget that sitting with a book is a really lovely way also just to switch off and find calm as well. Not to mention the title of my book there, well played, Angela, is Switch Off and Find Calm, of course, is my second book. If that is something that you are interested in, I do have lots of strategies in there. But yeah, well, good product placement there, Ange. So building your attention algorithm is it is actually pretty easy to do. And unfortunately, what we're doing too much is we're allowing our algorithm, our profile of what we look at, what we read, what we surround ourselves with, we're handing over our reality to technology algorithms. We're handing over going, I'm currently paying attention to this, and therefore that must be who I am. But we know that's a load of garbage, right? What we want to do is take control and go, this is the person that I am. This is the person I want to be. This is the goals that I'm working towards. This is the reality that I want. So how do we do that? We build our own attention algorithm and we start to build the profile around us of that image. And when we start to do that, then that starts to become our reality. Not only do we sort of just surround ourselves with information, but we start to see opportunities that align with what we're reading, what we're watching. People will start to show themselves because you are starting to look at things differently. You're starting to invite more information into your life that will allow you to move forward towards what you want. So this is my challenge, I guess, to you, my invitation to you. Is if you are listening to this podcast and you've got to the end of the podcast, I want you to think about what algorithm are you currently creating in your life? Are you creating one that's holding you back and keeping you stuck? Or are you creating an algorithm that's expanding you, that's allowing you to grow, and that is allowing you to step into the reality that you want to choose? Okay, just have a think about that. And hopefully some of those strategies that I've talked about today, really simple strategies of how you can start to build that profile around you so that your brain goes, that is who we are. That is the information we want. That's the learning we want. And this is the reality that I'm creating for myself. So hopefully you have found this really, really valuable. I know a lot of people, when I've been speaking about this lately, they just get it. They can see the difference between allowing tech worlds to create algorithms for our reality to taking a step back and taking control and going, no, this is the person I am. This is the person I want to be. And this is going to move me closer towards my goals. So have fun with it. Let me know what you choose in terms of the strategies that you use that have made a really big difference for you. But yeah, just have fun with it. Jump on there. There are so many amazing people that can teach you so many things in this world that will help you move you closer towards your goal. You don't have to do it on your own, and you don't have to fumble and work it out on your own either. Be guided by people who are there to be happy to share that knowledge with you, and who've gone there and we've got so much access to information now. There's really is no excuse for you to tap into those people who can show you maybe a little bit easier how to do it. Thanks so much for joining me here, guys, on Distracted. If you feel like there's somebody who would really benefit from listening to this episode, please share it with them. There's lots of different platforms. Whatever platform you are listening to this on, you can share it. Please share it far and wide, and you might be helping somebody else build their own attention algorithm in a way that can really significantly change how they're currently living their life. And who knows, you might just, by sharing this episode, change their lives. But thanks so much. If you are interested in learning more strategies on how you can find greater focus in your life, the waitlist is currently open for 31 days to focus. It kickstarts on the 1st of July. So if you want to be a part of it, head on over to my website, angelalockwood.com.au, and there is the online focus program right there. But again, thanks so much for joining me. Have fun building your algorithm. And until next time, stay focused on the things that matter to you. Thanks, everyone.